With this movie, you basically took the traditional crime drama and you flipped it on its head a bit. You know, all those characters that we don't normally get to see what happens to them. Now it's like all of a sudden the page is peeled back, you know, the curtain has revealed where they go. And I think that is absolutely fascinating. Where were you inspired, you know, or how were you inspired to do that?
Thank you. You know, when I was watching all of those films myself, all of those classic 70s crime dramas, I found myself wanting to know, as much as I love those movies, I found myself wanting to know what happens to those characters. What are they feeling? What are they thinking? You know, there's often a woman on the edge of the scene trying to make a baby stop crying. And it's like, what is her experience of all of this? And so we thought
Yeah.
it would be a really interesting way into that genre to tell that the story of those characters, but within the same structure of all of those other films.
It's one of the great joys of getting to bring this film to life that you know, Julia asked me before we started shooting to watch the film Thief by Michael Mann, and Tuesday Weld is such an interesting and bold and dynamic character, and then she disappears, as you mentioned, as soon as the action begins and we follow the men into the fray. And I really appreciate Julia's interest in digging into a different side of this familiar and beloved genre and sort of swinging the lens on a character whose story is worthy of being told. And likewise, characters like Cal and Terry, who, if they are included, disappear maybe even sooner than that character. It's been a really fun re-exploration of a genre that we all love.
There is something unusual and really intriguing about this script, and I don't know what it is. And then when I had a chat with Julia, then she explained what you just said to me, actually, that this is pretty much a very familiar story turned inside out, you know. And I was like, that's what it is, because I know these characters well. I've just not really kind of gone on a journey with them. You know, they're normally on the outskirts, and normally they're one-dimensional, you know. Normally they're just a device, you know, whereas like she's given them life, you know, she's breathed life into them. And yeah, I found that really intriguing.
There's a scene in the beginning of the movie where you and Rachel's character, you first meet. And in that scene, you end up being the one who calms the baby down and kind of relieves the mother, which usually you see the woman rushing in to, you know, calm the baby or to soothe. And in fact, it's kind of, again, reversed in this film. But I also heard that you're like a super baby whisperer. On set, you are the guy for all the babies.
I can't believe they're still toting that around. To be honest, I get on with babies. I get on with kids. I get on with everyone, actually, with dogs. And I mean, yesterday I was walking through the park and this dog was just fascinated by my coat for some reason, and it was just trying to play with my jacket, and ended up having a very 3-minute impromptu kind of play with the dog.
Yeah, he really is. I mean, Marsha Stephanie was there. Those babies were in love with Arinze from the minute they laid eyes on him.
It was so annoying. It was so annoying.
Yeah, we were so mad.
We were trying so hard. We were playing games and being cute, and they saw Arinze and they were just like,
I mean, they couldn't take their eyes off him. They would reach for him. And it made some of those scenes really magical because Julia had written moments like that into the script where they reached for him or they turned to look at him. And they were already all the way there. And I felt that with Jean, where I was a little bit like, what the heck is going on? You know?
But I also feel like that's everyone's reaction to Arinze. It's not just babies. We all love him.
One of those perfect people who's as kind as he is talented and just
and handsome and cool and all the things. He's just awesome.
I was just talking to Arinze and I was like, I love the scene at the very beginning where you first meet Rachel, and instead of like her taking the baby to go, you know, quiet it down, you actually take the baby and soothe it. And I think that's just kind of a beautiful moment that really speaks volumes to what this film does. And I also heard that he's like a bit of a baby whisperer, which I was just like, yeah.
He is. It really helped. The babies loved him. The babies loved him so much. And it was so hard for him when he would have to do those scenes where he was like kind of being cold towards them. Because the moment I would say cut, he would be like, hi. Hi. And they just loved it. But yeah, it was important to me, when you're telling the story of the characters that have been kind of stereotyped and in the background of those other films, I think it's really important to show that they're not necessarily who you thought they were, that there are layers to them and different elements to them. And as much as the stories that I like to tell have female protagonists, I'm also interested in exploring sides of masculinity, men being incredible caretakers. My own husband is an incredible father and so involved and so gentle with my kids and so good with my kids, and that's not always the case, or that's not what we're told is the case. And so I love getting to explore female protagonists, but also, as I said, like just the different sides of masculinity that we don't often show on film.
And you worked with Rachel not only in the capacity of her being talent in this, but you brought her on as a producer, and she's first-time producer for this film. And this was your first time working with an actor as a producer. How was that experience?
Well, she completely spoiled me because she was such a good producer, and it was awesome how her as producer affected her performance and the way that she as a producer could protect certain things creatively that she might not have had the power to do as a lead actor, and vice versa. Having a lead actor, especially one who is in every frame of the film, the whole film is in Jean's perspective. So having Rachel's perspective in the producerial capacity, in the preparation of the film and in post-production was just invaluable and made me only want to work that way. But again, that also might just be working with Rachel.